YouTube? How you feeling? Hey, everyone, what's good? It's your girl Francine. Today is Friday. It's Fact Friday when we talk about the straight facts of what's really going on. And today, I'm going to put a big old trigger warning on this video because this is subject matter that makes me uncomfortable. So I'm 100% sure it's going to make some of you uncomfortable. And I apologize if it does. It is about children and inappropriate things in regards to children. But I picked this topic because, if you did not know, a movie named Cuties came out this month. And it was already getting some type of play in regards to people being outraged because of the poster that it was. And I'm going to put the original poster here. And I don't even know if I want to put the regular poster because it is inappropriate. It's extremely inappropriate. And people were very upset. The movie hadn't come out yet, so we really didn't know how outraged we were supposed to be about it. And then the movie came out on the 9th, and people are furious. And, you know, tell you a little bit about the movie because I attempted to watch the movie, but I couldn't finish it, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the movie is about a young girl who's 11 years old who is from Senegal, who becomes increasingly enamored with her classmate Angelica. I've watched the movie and I know her name. The queen bee of the group of schoolgirls who calls themselves the Cuties, with her mother being preoccupied by the devastating news that her husband has taken a second wife. Amy desperately throws herself into becoming a cutie, even taking part in the dance competition with Angelica and her friends. Like most girls new in town, she was just wanting to belong. Now, that is the premise of the movie, and I will say that it does send a message. Again, I couldn't finish the movie. There's a couple of scenes that really triggered me to the point where I was like, I'm good. I get the point. And the director of this movie has come out and said, look, I get people was outraged, but the point of this movie was to show society and how little girls feel like they have to dress sexually and be sexual in a way in order to kind of get attention and to be popular, right? And how social media can influence that and things of that nature. Now, my biggest problem with this movie is I get it, I get the point, but I think that it's supposed to make you uncomfortable like a lot of other movies that have great premises, but my problem is it's using children. And those children, though she said they had a psychiatrist on hand to make sure that they were, okay. She talked to them through the way. She interviewed them before they took the role. Like, she said that she tried her best to make sure that they were comfortable. One thing is, kids can't consent to stuff like this. Like, I don't think a child should be able to consent to being in some of the positions they were in this movie. And that is kind of what bothered me about this movie. I get the whole outrage about the twerking and all that other stuff, but I get that she was trying to put across a very intense picture so you can see what the problem is, but you forgot what country we are in. Like in France, it started in Paris. In Paris, it may have been okay, but this country, we have a lot of outrage about things, but we never really do anything about them. And that is why I wanted to make this video. Now, this month, I have been donating to different causes that affects big things that I care about. I did voting, I did homelessness, and this week I am going to give to a charity that is helping with child exploitation as well as child trafficking in this country. It's called ECPAT. I don't know if it's called ICPAT or just ECPAT. I'm putting it in the link description. You can donate as well if you would like to. But my problem is that we have all this outrage about this movie, but no one's doing anything about a very real problem that I think was the point of this movie. Like, I get that the outrage comes from how sexual it was with the children, but I feel like we should be talking about a problem that we've had for a very long time. So that's what this video is for. So let's get into the facts, because I gave you my opinion and now we're going to get into the facts. So I'm going to try to limit my use of the S word. I've said it a couple times, but I feel like if I say it too much, YouTube going to be a little upset and not promote my video. So I want you to see this video. So I'm going to say inappropriate. Inappropriate is put it in there for this word. So first I want to talk about sex. I just said what I was going to say. First I want to talk about child exploitation online, right? It's commonly includes grooming, live streaming, blackmailing, luring, trying to get children to do inappropriate things online. As technology advances, there's become new forms, and predators have a lot more content to stream and a lot more people to prey on. I mean, if you watch any true crime video, they have at least one or two about a teenager who met a guy online and thought they were a teenager as well, and then they leave with him. Or they have an adult boyfriend that's crazy and kills them. Like, it's really big. And so I want to talk about kind of what is considered exploitation, right? It's encouraging you to do inappropriate things that make you uncomfortable, sending unwanted, inappropriate pictures of yourself to a person that you don't want to do, being asked inappropriate questions about that makes for inappropriate content, and exposing you to inappropriate videos. You know what kind of videos I'm talking about, as a child, or encouraging you to watch things that you don't want to consent to. And so, two of the most common that I've seen things that happen in exploitation of children is grooming and luring. I know people who have done both. Not done both. I don't know any people that do this, but I know people who've had both of these done to them. And grooming is essentially, I think a lot of people have seen this. If you're in high school and you have that friend that's 17, 16 that has a 28-year-old boyfriend, and he's always like, oh my God, you're so mature for your age, but he's still exploitation of a child, that is grooming, or the idea of giving you gifts and money in order to get you to do inappropriate things for them is grooming. A lot of people don't realize that because they think, oh, my boyfriend, he thinks I'm so mature. But the compliments and making you feel good about yourself is the way that they groom you into thinking that what's going on is okay. And then the second kind is luring, like I said in the beginning, about how some people can be lured online to give inappropriate pictures of themselves to people, or to go on a date with someone who maybe not be the age they say they are, or even if they are the age that they say they are, doing things or making them do things that they don't want to do. So exploitation is a very big thing. It happens a lot. I'm sure it happens a lot more now because it happened when I was a child. And I'm not going to say how long ago that was, but it was a while. It happens for as long as the internet has been around. And I'm 100% sure now it's happening more and more. So I'm going to put a number here. If you feel like you're being exploited, please call that number. If you feel like someone's blackmailing you, that's another thing. They get some type of picture of you and they're blackmailing you with it to do more. Please call that number, because I can only imagine. It's not even been that long ago since I was a kid in my brain. And I can't imagine what it's like to be a kid now with everything at your hands. Like, you have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I mean, there's so many places, all these streaming sites, like these places where you can you can go live with people. Like, it's a lot. So let's get into another very big problem that is affecting a lot of children today, and that is child trafficking. I think a lot of people have been realizing more and more that it is a huge problem. So let's get into it. So trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, or provision of detaining an individual under force or coercion into doing commercial sexual acts. I had to say that part because inappropriate would not be really understanding of what it is. And when it comes to a child, it doesn't even have to be forced. It doesn't even have to be coerced. Anytime that you get a child to do any type of commercial act, it is trafficking. And that's why when I see, like, in news reports and they talk about child prostitutes, it's like, no, these are victims of a crime. They're not, you can't consent to it, so you can't call yourself a worker. Like, I don't think that makes sense. It's estimated that 4.5 million people in this country have either been a victim or a survivor of trafficking. And 20%, it's gone up nearly by 20% in the last year. So that's scary. It can happen to anyone, of course. I mean, you see all the time people saying, watch yourself, watch your back. At any time somebody can try to scoop you up or, try to convince you to go into a car, anything. But some people are at more risk. Migrants, people who are coming here from other countries. That's why when you hear a story like ICE saying that they randomly lost people when they were taking people to their little border cells, concerning. It also happens a lot of times, people who are using substances, to homeless individuals, especially homeless youth and runaways, people who have mental illnesses and mental disorders, as well as children who are in foster homes. And it also happens to men. I think a lot of people think it only happens to women and children. Young men and boys can be involved in this. It actually says that more than half of the people they find in trafficking are men, and a lot of times they don't want to talk about it because, well, I'm sure it's very traumatic to be put in that situation, but even more, especially if that's not something that you would normally do, not in a forced way. And a lot of times LGBTQ plus youth who are running away from home due to problems with their family not accepting them end up in trafficking, which is so sad to think about. Supply has gone up, of course, because of the internet. There's a lot more access to things, so it's a lot more likely that that's why the numbers are going up, because it's a lot more supply and demand, right? And it's really sad to see when you see that there's been plenty of raids in this country of kids being rescued from different areas from where they disappeared from, and it's great to see it, but it's just sad to know that that's not even a portion of the amount of people who are going through this. And a lot of times this happens, it's not just from, getting kidnapped off the street. Like I said, you can coerce a child to be like, hey, that 28-year-old boyfriend that you got that you think loves you and is having you do all this nasty stuff. That's trafficking, especially if you're getting paid for it. A lot of times people can end up being trafficked in their own homes. Like I said, foster care. If you have horrible foster parents, you can end up being trafficked in your own home. It doesn't have to be them taking you across the country. It could be literally in your backyard. Like, it could be up the street from your house. So knowing the signs of both exploitation and trafficking is very important. If you see someone who is very jumpy, who, they have a person that they don't go anywhere without and they feel afraid, you see that they're afraid of them, a person who can't really pay for things on their own, they can't freely move around, they can't go to people's houses, they can't, they're really restricted in what they're doing. Some people, they can't even speak for themselves in these situations, so the other person wants to speak for them. Just look for, people who look like they're not happy with the situation they're in. Of course, when I was looking it up, they said that a lot of times they experience with healthcare workers. So if you're a healthcare worker, please want to look out of people who look scared, who look like, they've been damaged in areas. Hotels, of course. That's where they go to a lot to traffic these people. Truck stops is a very big place. So if you frequent any of those areas, be on the lookout. With exploitation, if you have a child, make sure you talk to your child about what they're doing on the internet. Make sure you have a relationship with your child where they feel like they can talk to you if something's going wrong, if someone's trying to blackmail them or they're being groomed by someone and they start realizing this is not okay. Make sure that you know who's in your child's life. Like, I don't have kids, and I said another video, I feel like it's dumb not to say that you can tell people what to do with their kids, but that's important. Like, have a good communication with your kid, because your kid could be going through something and you have no idea. 9 times out of 10, when you see these cases of kids going missing and they end up being murdered by their 28-year-old boyfriend, it's like, I had no idea they had a 20-year-old boyfriend. I'm like, how? How do you not know? But that is my video for today. Like I said, this was inspired by the movie because I feel like the outrage, though I understand it somewhat, is just wasted. Like, you canceling your Netflix subscription is not doing anything to help those girls or help any other girls out here who are dealing with what's going on. If you want to do some more research, check the links in the description. Please donate if you can. ECPAT, they help people who are going through trafficking. They help get resources to trafficking, to help people get found. They also help with people who are being exploited, children who end up homeless because they were being trafficked in their own homes. They help with a lot of different people, so please give as much as you can. And with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is probably gonna be a little long, and it's kind of just me being me. So if you're looking forward to that, then check that video. Oh, and like this video if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, put it in the comment section below. And if you ain't subscribed already, please subscribe. I am literally 2 subscribers away from hitting 100. Like, it takes 1 second, so please do it. And with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.